All right. Welcome in, everybody, to another deep dive.
Absolutely.
Our word of the day is...
Ooh, I like this one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It is penchant.
Penchant.
Penchant. So like a strong liking or a tendency.
Right.
And it's usually used for a penchant for...
I'm not sure for, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, for true crime podcasts, maybe?
There you go. There you
A
go.
penchant for, I don't know, spicy food.
Yeah. There it is. Okay.
But it really got me thinking, though. Like, have you ever wondered if you're kind of stuck with your natural inclinations?
Like you just can't fight them?
Yeah, like are we just wired a certain way and that's just it?
Right.
So that's kind of what we're going to look into today.
I love it.
Yeah. So we're going to see if we can actually shift what we naturally gravitate towards.
Okay.
And we've got some really fascinating source material for this.
Lay it on me.
Yeah, it offers some really interesting perspectives on mindset
Okay.
and just, how change happens in general.
Yeah. All right. So less about totally changing who you are as a person.
Right.
And more about, can we look at how we adapt our inclinations?
Exactly.
Can we nudge things in a certain direction?
Right. Yeah. So it's not about becoming a totally different person.
Right.
It's just kind of like fine tuning, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think it starts with being more open-minded.
Okay.
And seeing things maybe in a little bit less of a negative light.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not about forcing yourself to absolutely love something instantly, right?
Right.
But it's about being willing to try.
Yeah.
If it's something that aligns with maybe, self-improvement goals
Yes.
or things that you want to do, you want to change about yourself.
Yeah. So maybe you've always thought,
Yeah.
I don't know, I could never be a morning person.
Yeah,
But maybe there are actually some benefits to it.
absolutely.
And, it might be worth a try.
It's about lowering that barrier to entry. If it's something that serves your aims in the long term,
Yeah.
that initial openness, even without excitement,
Right.
is really crucial.
I like that. That's a good point.
What I found fascinating here is this concept of trade-offs.
Okay.
Our sources suggest that, adapting to new things
Yeah.
often means letting go of something else to make space.
Right. Like you can't just add infinitely to your plate.
Exactly.
Something's got to give.
It's like a zero-sum game in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, so, you want to start exercising more?
Yep.
Well, maybe that means, less late night scrolling on your phone.
Absolutely. Or less Netflix.
Or less of something else that's taking up your time.
You got to prioritize.
Right. And that can be a bit of a jolt initially.
For sure.
Have you found that in adapting to things,
Yeah.
it really involves making those conscious choices about what to prioritize
Yeah.
and what to, let go of?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that discomfort is often temporary. This brings to mind a quote, actually, from the Italian philosopher Giambattista Vico.
Okay, I'm ready to hit me.
All right, so he says, "The straight line cannot proceed through the tortuous twists of life."
Whoa.
Oh.
Okay, that's a powerful one.
Right.
So, relating that back to our, topic of adapting our penchants,
Yeah,
it's not always going to be, perfectly smooth sailing.
for sure.
There are going to be challenges and unexpected turns.
And that's okay.
And that's okay, yeah. And it's about kind of,
Yeah,
expecting those and being ready for those.
absolutely. What does that quote kind of bring to mind for you about navigating those bumps?
I mean, it really highlights that, setbacks are just a natural part of growth.
Yes.
It's not always going to be easy.
Right.
We're going to try something new, and it might not work out perfectly the first time.
And that doesn't negate the effort.
Exactly.
It's part of that process, and it's not always linear.
Right.
Our source actually includes a really relatable image here.
Okay, I like images.
It's the skeptical person eating kale,
Okay. I've been there.
thinking, still waiting to love this.
Ooh, yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, that internal resistance to something that we know
Yeah,
might be good for us.
right.
Can you identify with that feeling at all?
Absolutely. I think it perfectly illustrates that gap between the intellectual understanding
Yes.
and the emotional acceptance.
Right, because we can know something in our heads,
Exactly.
but it doesn't mean we're there yet.
Totally.
Yeah, good point.
This raises an interesting question for you.
Okay.
Where in your life are you currently feeling like that skeptical kale eater?
Well,
A few candidates, maybe?
maybe more than a few.
All right, fair enough.
So let's kind of bring it all together now.
Yeah, let's summarize.
So we talked about, influencing our natural leanings
Right.
and how that's definitely possible.
It is.
It involves being open to new experiences.
Even without immediate excitement.
Even without immediate excitement, exactly.
Yeah.
And, understanding that adapting often requires trade-offs.
Right.
And, navigating a path that isn't always straightforward.
Not always a straight line.
Not always a straight line, just
Yeah.
like
Vico said, yeah.
the torturous twists of life.
The torturous twists of life, exactly.
The journey of adaptation rarely follows a straight line.
Right.
And that's perfectly acceptable.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
All right, so a final thought for you, our listeners out there.
I like it.
So, considering that life, as we've said, rarely unfolds in a perfectly linear way.
Right.
What small action might you consider taking today toward adapting a tendency that could ultimately benefit you?
Good question.
Even if you're still waiting to love it.
Still waiting to love it. I like that.
Thanks for diving deep with us, everyone.
Absolutely.
Catch you next time.